Hey guys, and welcome back to the Final Fantasy TCG University podcast. Today I'm joined with Noah
Hey.
and Byron.
Oh,
Thank you guys so much for checking out the podcast. If you want to support us, you can go to Patreon, YouTube, Twitch, all of those at TCG University. Subscribe. Facebook as well. We're on SoundCloud, Spotify, all the normal podcasting services. If we're not on a podcast service that you would like us to be on, let us know and we'll get that out there for you. We want to thank all of our Patreon sponsors: Addie, Andrew Dang, Anthony Albano, Chris Miner, Clay Cardwell, Jay Rogers, Jarrett Hubbard, John Stone, Justin Farce, Kat Maria, Kevin Broberg, Lucinda Letica, Okimao, Paul Casagrande, Samantha Stevens, Teodoro Ruiz, Tyler Zane Pease. Our sponsors for today are Cards Custom Build and Ink Gaming. Shout out to Card Custom Build for our sick plaque in the background. How are you guys today? It is very cool. How are you guys today?
I'm doing phenomenal. Thanks for asking, James. How are you doing?
I'm doing great as well. Today's my day off, so I got to sleep in a little bit and do a whole lot of nothing.
Oh, so you're bragging. I see. It's fine.
Yeah.
What about you, Byron?
Gotta hold it up where you can.
it's been all right. Got off work around like 8, so
The life.
The life.
By the way, I've been meaning to ask Noah. Chris
What?
Miner, is that person related to you?
I don't know at this point. I'm gonna be honest with you. You want a fun fact? My biological last name isn't Minor.
Oh,
It's major.
It's major.
That's how you get it.
Got me.
is it though? I need to
It's so
know.
basically it works the same way as like Junior, like your name was Junior. His dad's name's actually just Noah Major,
No,
so he became Noah Minor.
That's too funny.
It's a dumbass joke.
Dude, there's so many people here.
Huh? You talk about our viewers?
No, I'm talking about all these kids
Oh.
in my background.
Oh. I was gonna say there are a lot of viewers as well. There's 4 viewers.
Ah,
A
dude,
whole
that's
lot of
a
people.
lot.
It is a whole
We're,
lot.
we're attracting
We have
people.
2. There's 2 likes as well. I can see all these stats in front of me. That's pretty cool. I've never noticed them before. I don't usually have to be so close to the screen.
Dude, doesn't it just make you feel super good?
To know people are watching, yes, it feels great to know I'm doing this and it's worth something. You know?
And nervous.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
You got this. Nobody can even see you. You can't be camera shy this time.
Okay, so our topic for today, we're going to branch off a little bit into like some subtopics, but our main topic today is what makes Final Fantasy unique or like stand out as a whole. This was Noah's topic. How do you want to describe this more to like fill in for us?
So like every card game I feel has something unique about it. Not just its IP, but the way it plays. I've made jokes saying that this is just like Magic Light, and I could definitely say that that's not anything to say against the game personally. I can't get into
I mean,
Magic.
being attributed to Magic-esque is not a small feat in general.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not a big fan of Magic just because like the game feels too slow for me, and there's just a lot of stuff that like I personally am not super interested in. But this game just kind of shortens it down and gives me all the stuff I like and speeds itself up a bit. So I think that's a real bonus.
Yeah, I can understand that. I had a tough time getting into Magic at one point as well, but I spent time with at a local shop near my house when I was a little younger. That just they played Magic all the time, and I was just spending random time just to spend random time doing nothing, wasting time, you know. So I got into the game that way, and just having people who played it more often made it easier. But I kind of fell out in playing it too because I also feel like for me it's just a tad bit too slow. Or in my opinion, I think I don't like their formatting for things. But I think at the time I didn't like the formatting. I think it'd be fine now. I played more card games, gotten used to different formats and whatnot. I think I would be fine with the way formatting works.
Byron, it's your turn.
Yeah. I don't know. I think obviously a lot of games are kind of stem from Magic, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think most games have some like a very small similarity most of the time to Magic, just because it is the game that like kind of started everything. Where everything was like it started getting like people wanted to actually play it more and more. I mean, sure, there's like
Yeah.
card games before that too that came out, but Magic is the one that actually like popped off.
Back to where we were.
All right.
We
So
were on
Byron,
Byron.
if you want to start back at the top, what you're saying, just to make sure we get it off,
Okay.
it needs to be edited or whatnot.
Cool. All right. So I was just saying that I think most card games stem in some way from Magic, and I wasn't sure if there were card games before Magic or not. So I don't want to, say that
Oh,
there
right.
wasn't.
I remember now. I
Uh,
was in the middle of it.
yeah.
I was gonna say that I know for a fact there was a game that I believe released within a year of Magic and is still going strong to this day. It's just lightly played and is not
What game is
known.
that?
Redemption. It's a Christian-based card game.
Oh, I remember that.
Huh.
They still put out regular sets every
Crazy.
year. Like they're like 2 to 3, 4 sets a year, depending on like how they want to release it themselves.
It's nuts.
Like it's still going strong. It's pretty
It's
neat.
pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
so I
nobody
was just
really
saying that,
knows about it.
most games, kind of stem from Magic, and
Yeah.
Final Fantasy definitely has a lot of similarities. And I haven't played Magic much myself, but I definitely see, with the fact, with lands and then backups, kind of the same concept.
Yeah.
But honestly, like nothing like really like Final Fantasy, the game didn't actually like draw me into the card game. It was just more that it was another card game to play.
Yeah.
And like now I've grown to actually like the characters, and I still haven't played any of the games or anything like that, but I do like find that I really like some characters in this card game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you have like a massive chub for Zidane?
Zidane, yes, I sure do.
That's what I thought.
Hey, some characters are really cool. I get it.
Yeah.
Like, it's the one reason I'm always interested in Final Fantasy. I hate RPGs. I just can't play one.
Yeah.
But like the characters seem really cool.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I think too. But like one of the things that I really found just like interesting of the game was the mechanic of pitching cards from hand to gain the CP.
Yeah. Using
The
hand as a
crystal points.
resource.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was really interesting the way that they created that, because I mean I'm sure other games have some hand resources too, but it's not to the extent of
Like the
Final
main
Fantasy.
The main resource.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy's main way of paying is with your hand.
Yep.
You got backups and stuff, but I think backups are there to help you hit the odd numbers, like 3, 5, 7, like the exacts.
Yeah,
Your
exactly.
hand is more than likely going to be pitched for anything that's 2, 4, 6, depending on how many backups you're able to play or you do play in your
Yeah.
deck.
For sure.
So that's definitely like kind of like drew me in more and more to the game, just that the concept of your hand being your resources. So
so like the reason I started playing this game, like for real, is just the backs of the cards.
Dude,
It is
the cards feel
It's the
so.
it's not even how the cards feel. It's the way that the back of the cards look. Like my right now I have this is my Final Fantasy deck in front of me. The backs of my cards right now, I have them in like black dragon shields. But the only reason they're in those is because I don't own clear dragon shields that I'm not using on board games.
I
Like-
can't. I need to see if I can find one of my random decks just lying around, but
It's the only reason I want to own clear dragon shields is specifically so I could sleeve my Final Fantasy deck, because I like the backs of the cards so much. Like I keep picking up this deck box to look at the backs of the cards, and I don't have it in front of me. But like it's the one reason like I really was interested in this game, is because the backs of the cards look so nice. It seems like they worked really hard to make
It's
it look
just-
so perfect.
super simplistic, but very, very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah,
For sure.
For sure. And then like you were saying, like the stock of the card's not bad either.
Give me a sec. I'm definitely gonna find this. I know I can.
Like
it's in this drawer.
Like, cause I had Ryan from Underground at the time. He was teaching me how to play, and like the only reason I really learned is because like I just really enjoy card games. Hence, you know, TCG University, not
Insane.
random. Yeah, it's just like I just want to play cards. Like I just enjoy playing cards. So like I play Dragon Ball, Final Fantasy, UFS. I want to start playing Magic, but like currently I can't really do that. No one comes over to play Magic here, so can't do that. I have a deck for Pokemon that I don't get a chance to play. I've played Yu-Gi-Oh. I play that Redemption game that no one's heard of. I play Weiss Schwartz. Like, I just want to play cards. I enjoy playing card games. So, like, when I got the chance to learn Final Fantasy, I did. And I just really like the backs of the cards. I'm not as thrilled about playing the game as I wish I was. I'm not enjoying it as much as I wish I could, but I also don't think I get the chance to play enough to really pique my interest any more than that right now.
Especially now more than ever, just because
Oh, yeah.
whenever, I mean, at the TCG house, like, you're the only one that really, like, plays it.
Yep.
I have opportunities to play that.
Yeah. And then,
yeah.
just
There
my
you go,
dates
Jake.
my days off just not aligning with like locals either before COVID-19 right now.
Yeah. Hopefully.
And I also just hate playing online clients. I absolutely hate it.
We had our quick discussion about that in the last video.
Yeah, we did. I just don't have any want to play online. I like playing in person, so like I'm not gonna play online as much as I wish I wanted to.
So I guess, I mean, obviously the IP is like part of the reason I got into this game, because I'm not too big of a Final Fantasy nerd, but I'm just big enough to like the games and want to play them enough. I think I played Final Fantasy X was the first one I ever touched, and I hated it. Oh god, I hated it at the time because I was not used to turn-based games, and up until that point, Final Fantasy games were all turn-based. Terrible idea. But as I played, like I gradually like just learned to enjoy and how to deal with turn-based, and like Final Fantasy as an IP is just really cool. I like that everything's different. It's not always the same characters with the same exact story.
Yeah. I played some Final Fantasy game when I was in like junior high. I don't even remember which one it was, like at all. I don't remember anything about the game. But I remember I remember classes and all that. And I like in my head I remember pieces of things that I know are Final Fantasy game, that is a Final Fantasy game trait. But like I don't think I played my first I've never played a real Final Fantasy game like where I was competent enough to remember it. But I've played Bravely Default, which is like a spin-off game, and I've played Kingdom Hearts, which isn't Final Fantasy, but also
it has Final Fantasy characters. They renamed Squall to Leon for some reason. I don't know.
Leon's a cool name.
I mean, it is. Gunblades are super cool too, but
Gunblades are very cool. Shout out to Ruby. Everything's a gun.
Half the reason I want to play Final Fantasy VIII is just so I can mess around with the Gunblade, which like it's not even doing. It's just a weapon, but I just like Gunblades as a concept. It's so cool.
It was one of the things like I watched somebody play the demo for the new 7 remake. And they were joking about how you start the game off with the Buster Sword, and you basically just immediately throw it away because it's like the worst weapon in the game.
So it's not like it's the worst weapon in the game. It depends on how you want to play it. Like if you want to play magic based, it starts to drop off. Like it's probably the most balanced, but the second you get
I just remember like one of the first things they said were like, "Oh yeah, it's a really cool sword. You get it here in the demo, and then you're definitely just gonna throw it away."
Yeah, I just switched to mine just for nostalgia purposes, and I'm like 29 hours into the game, and I got rid of it at like hour.
Yeah, like it's like so like I think that's the problem I've had with like playing RPGs is like I'm more of an aesthetic person, so I want everything to look cool. Like I'll take debuffs to look cool. Like it's worth it. Like it's the way I played I think Assassin's Creed 2 or 3, or it might be Brotherhood, one or the other. But like I would specifically not play even though you could barely tell when you're playing the game, I would not play certain like weapons. I wouldn't use certain weapons because I didn't like the way they looked. I don't care if it didn't like match, like if I got like 20 more damage per hit or whatever. I don't even care. I want to look cool.
I want to look cool. But you should play RPGs then for that reason. RPGs are like the best way to look cool. We're whole off topic here, but like
Oh, we are, but
we'll get back onto the main one. Dude,
I mean, it's still Final Fantasy, so you know.
well, see, so it's really funny that you say that because Final Fantasy is an RPG, but it's one of those RPGs where all of your characters just wear the same outfit the entire time. So everything you have, like weapon-wise, has to match around them and not them match around like how you want. I don't know if that's a great way to explain it, but
but back on to Final Fantasy the card game.
yeah, back to the card game, right? So the IP was one of the things that got me invested in wanting to play the game, and I do like the limit cap at 5 backups.
I do think setting a limit to that is very nice as well.
Because if your opponent just could play as many backups as they want, I feel like a lot of decks would just be play a ton of backups, play big dudes super easily, win with the big boss monster instead of like a team, a party like it should.
Then again, though, if you're playing that way, if someone comes in with a very aggro deck, you're just gonna lose.
That is fair. Yeah, so it would balance it out, but like,
yeah,
I feel like the game just has enough options, especially since we're on the 11th set at this point, to deal with that to some degree.
Yeah. I do like the cap being at 5 as well. I think it'd be interesting if we did move it up to like 6 or 7.
Oh my
That'd
god,
just
if
be
we moved it up to 6?
it add like another dimension to the game, I think, almost in a way.
I think cadets. Now this is just me, and this is technical,
this is coming from the cadet player.
Biased. All from the cadet player. I think cadets at 6 backups would be busted. Like, because not only do you 8 already makes it, but 8 and 8 or 8 and ace is the funniest combo. Because you get to free play 8 because, oh, I have 3 cadet backups, tap them, play 8, restand them. And you go tap them again, pitch a card, play ace, and draw 2 more cards. Like, cool. I got to play 2 dudes for the price of essentially, what, 5 CP total? And they would equal a total amount of 8 CP? Or not even that, because ace nets you 2 cards. So you would be netting at least 2 CP off of it, and you got to play 2 dudes for free. If I'm counting that right. I could be counting that wrong, but roughly speaking.
The cadet player can't count.
Cadet player can't count, dude. Even when all of my characters have number names, can't count.
Yep, the cadet player can't count.
That was
the entirety of that joke was all the fact that they have numbers for names.
The numbers are spelled out, so it's different.
Yeah, dude. They're spelled. I can read
cadet
words.
Player can't read or count.
Yeah. Can't read.
I tried to help.
They go to school. They are cadets. I mean, he's got a point. Oof, something's wrong with me.
They're trying to learn. They're trying.
That's just me. Try. But like, yeah, it's just the main thing that got me into it, and I think that like the 5 backups is really good. The any number of forwards is cool. Nobody's ever gonna play probably more than like 4 to 5 at max. Because no decks spam that much that I know of.
My water deck can.
All right, listen.
Yeah, I've had him play like 8 on me.
Talk about your water deck, all right? That's because he plays a bunch of low-cost dudes and draws 17 cards a turn.
Yeah, I know, okay? Yeah. It's hard. I hate it.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, but it's fine. I have decks that deal with it now.
How is my Shiva control that only deals with 1 card at a time supposed to deal with 8 dudes? And I can't get rid of the big dude, or he just blows my shit up.
Yeah. That's why.
Or if I kill the small dudes, he just replaces them by drawing a card.
Drawing more cards, yeah. So like, it's really
Aren't I
funny
happy there's a hand size limit, huh?
because WoF feels like the slight opposite to that. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I play WoF, but like, WoF says I play low cost dudes, and those low cost dudes get boosted. So it's like they're like 5 drops, 4 drops, or whatever, and they do all the damage on swing. But you only probably play like 3 dudes, including Rain, at a time.
Man, I need to play
You
this
just
game
ping
more
your
because I
opponent's
just
board
never
off.
understand how to play cards. I just know how to play Shivas. I know how to play defense.
I know how to play
I'm-
Shivas.
I'm really good at defense, you know?
When you play those Shivas, you don't play them well.
Well, thanks.
Dang, Byron throwing shade
The more
too.
you know.
Man, he's turning
just
your
kidding,
ice deck
James.
into
Just teasing you.
water.
No, you're probably right. You're probably right.
We need to switch your ice build.
We'll
I think
get there.
I don't think I should play ice as my first like color. I think I need to figure out like another color to play.
Earth.
I'm actually
Earth
thinking.
is really good.
I'm thinking like
Earth
an
is
air
so-
lightning deck.
Because Earth says you get to play C card, and C card just says that none of your dudes die.
I was thinking more of like an air lightning deck, wind lightning deck.
Oh, Wind Lightning sounds fun.
But James, I think that Earth actually fits your play style in other card games, the way that you play.
Aggressively defensive.
So
Yeah, that is Earth.
yes,
I
think-
play defense to wear you down.
yeah, and I think that's
I'm
why
down.
Earth would fit you pretty well. And I think it's a good deck for someone that's starting out because you have a lot of cards that are going to have Brave, and it's going to just
Yes.
allow you to not like allow you to block, which is
Solid.
very important.
I'm down. We should work on this at some point.
Oh, for sure,
Earth?
100%.
Earth
To try and figure it
also,
out.
like, the more damage you take, and maybe it's just me, but I feel like the more damage you take, the stronger Earth gets. Earth is very very ramp based, so like it takes a while to set up, quote unquote, a while.
Yeah.
But it does really well when it's there, and it gets
Solid.
there pretty easily.
What the work on it? See what we can come up with. I think eventually I'll play ice as like a player, but like I just figure I think right now I don't know the game well enough to be able to play at what I need to be able to play for ice.
I could agree
I
with that.
don't have that experience. I think ice perfectly sums up what I want to do, which is just like push you into a corner and then deal with you later.
And then deal with you later.
But
Yeah, that's
but
a
Earth-
big thing ice does.
yeah, so like
Like once you get caught in the freeze and dull loops, it's kind of just a sit and wait game until you either draw an answer or your
Mhm.
opponent kills you.
which
And
is
even
which
if
is
you
where
see an answer, it doesn't
which
mean
I'm
much.
ending up with the ladder, you know. I
Yeah.
keep ending up with the ladder, which is the opponent kills me.
But
Another
I think
thing-
oh yeah, go ahead.
Another thing that I wanted to talk about too was the hand size limit at the end of your turn.
I think that's a very good thing for this game as well.
Mm.
God, so it's down to 5 cards, correct?
Yeah, down 2-5.
Which down to 5, which is really good against water decks that draw too much. But then again,
Huh.
it's funny because water solves its problem by playing so many low cost dudes. It just pitches its hand down and plays more dudes.
Yeah.
So you really, yeah, really stuck there.
You're forcing hand. You're forcing a play style.
Yeah,
But if it wasn't for the hand size limit, I think this game would it probably would have been dead by now just because it would get really out of hand.
Oh yeah.
because there's no limit. What a good joke, Byron. You're so
That's-
funny, dude.
it's also-
For a bit.
It's cool.
But
It's not, but we'll figure it out later.
I think also one of the really cool pulls to the game is the elements. So like every game obviously has its
Most other games have like a color system. Yeah.
yeah, like a color system. And the color system in this is really solid, and each color does its job really well. There's not too
The
much
jobs are
bleeding in.
really solid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like they mesh together to where they lose their identities. They all have a stable identity that they do really well, and they keep it there. Meaning like if you want to do something, you would have to branch out of whatever you're doing and play with that idea and those colors and those decks.
Yeah. So like that. So we talked about this a little bit in the pre-show, but this would be a good question for like right now. Is how do you think dual colors will deal with like the identities of like the dual?
So that's a really good point. Um, I want to know do we know if they're doing all colors dual color first, or if it's like select colors?
So I don't know. So like for instance, Shantoto, the one that they like the card art they released for that, it's gonna be Earth Lightning.
Earth and light. So
Yeah.
I know Earth is a lot of power increasing, Lightning's a lot of power decreasing. Lightning's very hasty, Earth's very bravey. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that they do well. I think Earth Lightning, ah, like obviously the card's gonna do a bit of both per se, right? At least it does one because it's got to match its element. But
That's gonna be kind of tough, but I do think that a lot of elements sometimes kind of overlap in certain aspects. So
yeah,
that definitely makes it easier to hopefully match the elements that are gonna work well together. And see for like Lightning Earth, they are kind of very different in what they do. But I don't know. Like I said, I think most elements have somewhat of a similarity with each other in some way.
Yeah.
But it'll
I
just be
think it's just
interesting to see.
I don't know if it's maybe they have similarities or there's just basic mechanics to the game that are a little more spread out through the colors.
yeah,
Like some things just sometimes just having each one having the ability to go have like a small dude that goes, yeah, sure, I'll nag 2K off this one thing.
mhm.
Just having just the small pieces instead of just it's like not every single piece has something that does that or like
Mhm.
most pieces do. It's just like here's just a couple. Here's a little like a little sprinkle.
Yeah. I think so like the identities that each one have, if I can put this in the best perspective, is like fire likes to ping. It likes to deal damage. It doesn't increase really. I mean, it can, but like its main thing is just to ping off board.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
ice
spam pinging.
likes to dull freeze. Water likes to bounce and draw. Wind, I don't
Likes
know how.
to they like to ready, don't they? They like
Yeah,
to
wind's a lot of restanding and readying things basically.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I just said the same. Um, Lightning likes to lower power and like
I saw a lot of haste.
there is a lot of haste in lightning. Lightning is
That was one of the
Yeah.
things I
probably
saw.
like it's not the most aggressive, I would say, but it's definitely aggressive and it likes a lower power. That way it can get the aggression through. And then Earth is
Yeah.
just a wall.
Yep.
Like if you play Earth, you vote for Trump because you want that wall.
Do you think light and dark have any identities, or are they just?
So
Um,
that's a good one when I think about it because light and dark don't ever like. I think they
Yeah,
mix around a bit.
they're really
I
hard
don't
to
know
like
how to.
pinpoint.
Yeah, because like when I think about it, I think let's say Reagan for instance. Reagan says you pitch a dark card and tap him and deal something 8K. So like you're able to you get like the fire ping off Reagan or whatever. It also clears bad cards out of your hand you don't need and
is
whatnot.
it deals or
Um,
loses?
Deals at 8K.
Is it okay? Okay.
Yeah. Elden Arch, the Dark Elden Arch says when it's sent to break zone, it goes back to your hand, so it bounces
Yep.
itself back
Yeah.
instead. So that's like a bit of what water would do by bouncing
Right
things
passes
around.
removal.
hmm
Um,
I played in my ice deck though.
I think I'm pretty sure Lightning also likes to play things out of the break zone a bit more than others. I think, but like Citra just picks up dudes. Reagan does the same thing on play as well.
yeah. You also forgot to mention discarding for ice.
Yes, Ice does do dis. All right, Ice is probably the only one that actually discards heavily enough. I know 3 CP Wednesday does it, and like I think it's 2 or 4 CP Thief backup does it as well, but Wind doesn't have a lot. It just kind of
I
splashes
think
it.
those might just play more to like the card types
Yeah,
or category type stuff than the system, the color system itself.
yeah,
Because
they're
like
both Thief.
thief Thief making you discard kind of plays to its gimmick of trying to mill your opponent out.
Yeah.
It's because
stealing your
it's
card.
less options, yeah.
And Zidane's a thief. There you go. We cracked the code, guys.
We did.
Obviously. I don't know what the code was, but we just cracked it. Case closed.
Okay,
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Now get off the soapbox and. So why do you guys think the game's been going so strong so far?
So we have definitely like touched on the subject is that everything is still being printed.
Yes.
And
It's one of
I
my favorite
think,
things about this card game.
yeah, I think for sure that helps keep people around because they're able to play with the older cards and the older cards are still useful.
Yeah,
so there's
you also
no
don't have to
reason
worry
for you-
about
Rotation.
prices skyrocketing
Yeah.
on like closed boxes and whatnot.
Yep. I think that really like pushes players away. Like obviously you do what you want to do. It's your card game. You're
Yeah.
the company that owns it. But
And
I think
obviously
in the end,
pushing to sell new product is
yeah,
always
you're gonna
good.
want to. I just think in the end, like being able to continuously print all of the cards that are already out is really good for players that want those older cards for any of the older decks.
Yeah.
Or like for casual play or for competitive play because like the cards are just useful still.
I really like it, like the way they do it for like printing everything, especially with the start of like I'm not a big fan of L3. I've never got to play it, but I don't like the concept of like limited formats.
Mhm.
I actually like the ability to play everything. I think it's really fun. But like I think from like a developer standpoint, like a planning what you play, what you print and whatnot, the ability to print a set and know it's still going to be played a while long while you're still printing it, and having all these formats that support X sets will get supported because Legacy or L3 standard, having all these different like formats that get supported be where people buy the product you're already printing just means that you don't have to worry about man, we have all this extra product that we printed because we figured it'd sell better, and then like it just sits around and does nothing. And it's like I don't want to sell it too cheap because I had to print it, but like if I don't sell it cheap enough, it's just not going to move.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about that, in my opinion. They have this strong standpoint of just like everybody that's going to play like the new formats are going to want to buy the new sets because like the new sets are going to have cooler things, they're going to have better things most likely. Power creep exists in all card games regardless of how people feel about it. Power creep exists, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then like but there'll still be cool stuff and collector stuff you'll want for like old sets. And then like if you ever want to, if something ever becomes good in an old set, you're gonna need to pick it up anyways. And
I really like the point that you just made about having to pick up the new sets if you want to keep up with the format,
yeah,
because L3 kind of makes you have to keep up with their newer product.
Yeah.
So I think that's very true, and I think it's a very smart move on there, and I think that's why having the limit of 3 sets, looking at it that in their perspective, having it be a limit of 3 sets really keeps their newer product
yeah.
circulating.
I actually like just like looking at it, don't see like maybe not like I I'm seeing a possibility that like it could split one more time and do like a back end, not like a back end, but like a full string, and then standard become more of a even not like super limited, but like expanded limited. You know, like I'm gonna use like UFS as like my standpoint for this because like how my mind reads it. We technically have 3 different formats despite how often they get played. We have what is called Jasco Eternal, which is Jasco's the company that owns it, and it's anything printed within like their own. Like the game's gone through hands a couple times, but the Jasco Eternal is any card printed within Jasco's hold of the game, Jasco's ownership. Any card printed within that between now and their first printing is all legal for play inside that one format. Obviously, depending upon like a ban limited list, whatnot. I think we just do bans, but like ban lists and whatnot. And then we have our standard format, which is the most recent 10 printed sets in the game, which is a pretty wide format to look at. We have promos and all that. It's 10 sets. All 10 sets are legal for standard. And then we have Turbo, which is a lot like L3, but it's the last 4 sets that have been printed is your Turbo
Thanks, Tam, for shooting it over to us. The first sponsor of this week's podcast is InkedGaming.com. Are you looking to get a custom playmat? Well, then we suggest you check out InkedGaming.com. They have custom playmats, dice bags, mouse pads, and much more. Shot out of a cannon. James, what would you get on a playmat if you had to pick one right now?
7 Swell from Eureka 7.
What is that?
It's like it's the aftermath of like them launching a nuke practically.
I love Nuke.
I love nuke.
I love Nuke.
Yeah.
Technically, it's like a reaction between like a robot and.
Well, you can get it on a playmat. What would you get?
I'm Izuken.
Izuken.
Yeah.
What is that?
Stop!
New anime.
No.
New anime.
right now.
Yeah.
I've fallen in love with it.
Is it really good?
It's
It
like
is.
Edda and Eddie the
It's-
anime.
So
It's
it
the
has
way
been
it's described
described
to me.
as if Edda and Eddie was an anime about 3 girls making an anime.
Wow. Well,
It is also made by the same guy that made Ping Pong the animation.
I'm super in. You could definitely get that on a playmat
it
with
is. Ping Pong the
inkgaming.com.
animation.
Spider-Man, obviously. They even recently added stitched options to their playmats and mouse pads as well. I've got a couple of these stitched playmats. They are exceptionally good. They're so good. They just never fray, they never curl, nothing. So if you want to get 10% off of your order, please use the code TCG University, all caps, no spaces at checkout, and help support the channel by customizing your game to your style. In addition to Ink Gaming, we've also got Cards Custom Build. Are you in a cosplay? Looking to get in a cosplay? Or you want to show up to events dressed as your favorite character? Well, Cards Custom Build can help. Cards Custom Build creates everything from cosplay accessories like props, trinkets, or weaponry, all the way to full costumes, full stop. James, if you had Cards Custom Build make you something right now, what would it be? It could be anything. Full costume or...
It'd probably be Weiss's weapon from Ruby.
Are you sure? Because he could easily make the gun from Gears of War. Easily. The big chainsaw gun?
There's a lot. There's a lot I would want.
Well,
Okay?
give me an example.
Yeah, you got the Gears chainsaw.
Uh-huh.
You got the Halo sword.
Uh-huh.
You got a bunch of things you could do.
He would do some sick stuff with a Halo sword. Just saying. It'd be real pretty. Tyler, how about you, man? What would you want?
Something from Steven Universe, I think.
Yeah?
You
Yeah.
get the Steven Universe shield.
The shield and the sword, or like Garnet's gauntlet.
Oh,
That'd be cool.
Those sound hype. Those sound hype. So if you want a cosplay made of perfectly flowing cloth or maybe rigid battle armor, the new Mandalorian show just came out and finished. Season 2's coming out. He's an expert at making a bunch of nerdy Star Wars stuff. The work is guaranteed to make you the talk of the con. So go over to Cards Custom Build on either Facebook or on their Etsy account. Link will be in the description down below. Make sure to mention that TCGU sent you their way, and you will get 5% off your entire order.
Maybe somebody will buy them
Back
off
to
me
the
one
show.
day.
Yep.
Another thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Noah.
Oh no, you're good. Be my guest.
Be my guest.
Another thing that I wanted. Another thing that I want to kind of mention. The reason why I think this game is still going strong is it already had a strong foundation of fans before
yeah.
it was even a card game.
The
Like Noah was saying, he was drawn in because of the IP. Like
Yep.
he played Final Fantasy. It's what drew you in, and I feel like that's very true for a lot of people.
It's IPs are a very integral part of like how card games work, especially when you're a newer card game too.
Yeah.
Starting something off without having like a base for support is very rough. Dragon Ball can get away with it. Dragon Ball's a very big IP. Everyone likes Dragon Ball, so like people are going to cling to that. Weiss Schwartz is always built around like all these separate licenses, and you don't have to play all the newer stuff all the time. You can enjoy playing the game casually. If you want to play competitively, sometimes you do have to, but most of the time you're not super worried about it. You play the game because you like the characters. If you play competitively, you'll know you want to pick it up anyway. You'll pick up the new stuff anyways, so you don't worry about like IPs and whatnot as much. You worry more about, I like this IP, so I collect it, but I still want to play competitively, so I buy the new shit anyways.
Yep.
And then for like Magic, the IP is Magic itself. It's the Magic universe. But Magic is being one of like the big 3 games, Pokemon being its own large IP on its own, Yu-Gi-Oh just being just a standard, one of the standard big 3, and Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh being the biggest outliers of them all, being that they don't have more or less a universe or an IP as much as they have a dedicated player base that's been playing for a while. Like they get their dedication to. Well, I guess Yu-Gi-Oh does have the show. I always forget Yu-Gi-Oh has a show because the card game rules are never the same as the show
They
rules.
aren't
How it started.
because like
but so like I never think about that, but I guess Yu-Gi-Oh does have an IP. So like Magic's the only outlier here, but like Magic does have its own small universe, but you have to have like enveloped yourself in that universe to really think of it as its own IP, in my opinion. You have to understand the integral parts of like all the cards they've been printing.
What I see for Magic, I think it also involves a lot of mythology and stuff like that, which really draws people in for sure.
Which is like how I like. It's the reason I don't think of Yu-Gi-Oh as much as an IP. I think Yu-Gi-Oh built an IP out of their game, in my opinion. Because like Yu-Gi-Oh, a lot of their sets aren't as like built off of the show. They build these sets and then create them with the show. Is how I feel. Because like some of the sets are just really outrageous, and then they build these storylines for characters around the set.
They go, hey guys, we made pendulums, Arc 5. Like, all right, cool, whatever.
We have this really cool thing. It's Star Wars, but we can't call it Star Wars.
We can't call it Star Wars.
Like, there's just a bunch of there's just a bunch of like everybody has like an IP or something that makes them want to play the game. I feel like Final Fantasy has this really large one, being the game has 15 games, multiple remakes, and the fan base is always screaming for a new remake anyways.
Not even to mention the spin-offs.
The spin-offs as well, yeah. Like, it just having all of this IP, like I guess man, what's the word I want? Just having so many IPs that are all one IP in its own while being separate creates this drive of almost the same way like how White Schwartz work, except it's still only one IP. Like White Schwartz is always separate card game, separate series. You can't mix them. But like Final Fantasy is, there's a couple of different games inside each set, and you can intermingle them if you want to, or don't. Play the one game, play the one category, play your one Final Fantasy VII deck, and that's it. Just do that.
I did that for the longest time.
Or just choose not to and play a more. I played this weird deck that just intermingled like 4 or 5 different games together, and it's just like you can do that.
It's really cool that you can like mix because Final Fantasy is essentially one large IP with a bunch of separate IPs all together. And I think that's one of the coolest parts, and that's like one of the things that lets me want to stick around too, is like it's not just the big name title games, you know, like Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 13 or 15
everything.
Or 10. It's all of the games, including World of Final Fantasy or Tactics. Like all of the major spin-offs are included as well. And the coolest part I like about this game that keeps me playing is like you can have the same type of card name, like Cloud, for instance, but under like each element, Cloud does something different. I mean, there's 2 Earth Clouds off the top of my head that just do 2 things differently. There's Birthing Pod Cloud, which says tap, kill something, play something of the same category, but like a cost higher. And then there's 4-drop Earth Cloud that says when one of your category 7 characters blocks, it gains 1k. They're both really nice clouds.
Oh yeah. There's
the 5-drop Fire Cloud that says on play, ping something for 3 and then add an additional 1k for every damage you've taken. There's Haster. Like just the base 2-drop Haster, right?
I believe
it's
so.
A 2-drop Fire Haster.
Is it Haster? I don't know. 1 second. I gotta look it up. I know Tifa.
I know Tifa. Yeah, Tifa definitely has haste. Now I'm confused.
The 2-drop Tifa?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one has haste.
Cloud.
I read that card.
Okay, so Cloud. If you control category 7 forward other than Cloud, Cloud gains +2,000 power. When Cloud enters the field, choose one forward opponent controls, deal it 2,000 damage.
There's the 6 CP Fire Cloud as well. Oh boy.
Yeah, there's a lot of clouds in the game.
Yeah, that 6 CP Fire Cloud's pretty cool. I want to see a deck with it. It says every time one of your category 7, each time a forward you control attacks, it gains 1k power till the end of the turn. So all of your 8ks are 9ks, all of your 9ks are 10ks.
Man, that's a lot of K.
That's a lot of K.
That's a lot of damage.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 Fire Clouds. There's only
Like,
two Earth clouds.
That's another thing I actually kind of like about the game, and hate it at the same time. You can't play an entire deck about all that's just all clouds, which I think is really cool because it creates like it basically creates like a pseudo storyline in your own deck.
I mean, you can in title, can't you? Doesn't title
what?
allow you just to play any number of
I don't think it does. I think it still keeps the same basic rules.
Because I know that Cadets is super busted in title because Cadets literally just floods the board with like the same dudes.
Well, there's a lot of like good cadet cards that you can just play in title because they're cadets. So
Yeah, they just really well. Cadets are awesome, but that's besides the point.
I like the idea of both being able to play an entire cloud deck, but I also like the idea of having like a pseudo made up storyline in your own head because you can only play so many X characters.
Yeah.
Like you can have only so many X characters on board, and like if you wanted to, you can create this own little pseudo storyline in your head.
Like I'm.
Oh, you can
I haven't
create your Cloud fanfic if you wanted to.
Your Cloud fit. And Cloud looked at the other Cloud and sparks.
Well, no. You
flying.
can't play multiple Clouds. We talked about this.
Well, you can't play multiple Clouds, but they can still look at each other.
Zach, look at him.
Duh. No, dude, Zach had Google eyes for Aerith. Get out of here.
Yeah, but it's your fanfic.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Then Zach was looking at Barrett.
Tifa was looking in.
Tifa was looking at Red 13. Was like, man, what a nice cat.
And Red 13's looking at the Chocobo like, hey, dinner.
Like, dude, I'm starving. Get over here. He's got the whole fat bastard thing going on in his head.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
I'm bigger than you. I'm higher on the food chain. Get in my belly. I'm telling you, dude. Spot on. But, like, yeah, it's just one of the things that keep me playing is, like, you can have multiple characters of the same name that just do different things. Like,
Yeah.
Cloud. Cloud of Darkness, since we're talking about Cloud. Famfrit, unfortunately.
Fanfic.
Not a cloud. Not a cloud.
Well, technically, the 3-drop is Famfrit, the Darkening Cloud, so it's kind of a cloud.
The cloud.
Kind of a cloud.
But is
The
cloud a
second
cloud?
But it's still a bad card, okay? Get Famfrit out of here. I hate that.
I mean, it's a
So,
fantastic card.
this idea just started making me think about like how Shiva works. Why does the one Shiva care about other Shivas? What's the storyline for Shiva now?
Shiva just loves herself so much.
Are they like humanoids or something, or like what are they?
No, I've never.
Shiva is just Shiva from what I know. It's supposed to just be one thing, but it's really funny that the card says that it does more damage for each Shiva in your break zone because there's only supposed to be one Shiva.
Like it's one single character. Well, like, so like, that's why I'm really confused because I don't know the Final Fantasy storylines at all. But like that Shiva is looking at a machine Shiva.
Oh, the
So
motorcycle
at some
Shiva?
point, does she get like is like a machine clone or
I've never played any of the Final Fantasy 13 games, so I couldn't tell you.
is she only in Final Fantasy 13?
That Shiva is Final Fantasy 13, but Shiva's in just about every Final Fantasy game because she's a mainstay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The more you know.
The more
The
he.
more you know.
Dun, dun, dun. I don't actually think that's what the music is like, but I
I
tried.
don't know the music either.
So, all right. So here's one then.
Okay.
So Byron, your favorite card is Zidane, right?
100%.
So when you started playing the game, what drew you towards Zidane just being super cool? Is it just the art style or the way he looks, or is it just like how all of his cards like play?
Was definitely of how the cards played, because when I first started, I started out with a ice wind deck, and essentially what it did is I played. This is before Thaumaturge was banned, so I would play Thaumaturge. I could play 3 in one turn, and then bounce one back with Mione, and then just like it was just crazy. Like I'd discard your whole hand almost. And
Yeah.
if like I drew that perfect hand, I could discard your whole hand. And so I played Zidane in it, and I really love that it discarded and then it also gained power if your opponent had 2 or less cards. So the way that it played was really interesting to me, and I really enjoyed that. And then they just kept printing more Zidanes that just kept drawing my attention. My favorite Zidane is the 2 CP water one. I think that card is so good.
I hate that card. I hate that card so
What does
much.
it
Just
do?
because it's the 2 CP water one. You know, I'll let Byron explain because he likes that card.
So what it does is, if it
It wins
deals
the
damage,
game.
essentially, like if you draw it early enough and you play it early enough, and your opponent doesn't have anything to stop it, you could pretty much
It
just
generates so much hand advantage and
snowball.
cycles
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, so here, I'm just gonna read it to you, James, because Zidane.
Please do. Please do.
All right,
It's-
so if you have
It's become a
6 or more
mainstay in
cards,
water decks.
yeah, for sure. If you have 6 or more cards in your hand, Zidane cannot be blocked. So that's the first one.
Sure.
When
In a water
Zidane-
deck? Yeah. Super difficult.
Right, right.
You
And like
said
honestly, like
6?
it's a lot. Yeah, 6 or more cards. But honestly, like cards better in other, like if you're playing dual elements, I don't know.
Mm.
It's okay in water, but it's better when you can give it haste because you can just go off right away.
Solid.
Anyways, when Zidane deals damage to your opponent, draw 2 cards, and then it
Nice.
has a special, which is Solution 9, and it says choose one forward until the end of the turn. It loses 2,000 power for each card in your hand.
Well, it's not even that too, isn't it? If it deals damage to a forward or to your opponent, you draw 2.
When it deals damage to your opponent.
Oh, it's just when it deals damage. Okay, I needed to make sure on that one because
So
I know there's some that-
basically, it's ditch a copy of itself, kill something.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems nuts.
So if you get that out, your play, because let's say you start first, so you have 6 cards in hand, so you're essentially losing 2, so you go down to 4 cards in hand, so you can pitch 1 to play the Zidane, and then your turn comes back up. You draw 2 cards. You're at 6. You you go into attacks immediately because you just swing Zidane because he can't be blocked. Draw 2 more cards, so you're at 8, and then you use main phase 2 to play out anything else you need, and you literally have all the CP you could ask for.
Nuts.
So that's really good. And
What's
then
the downside to this card?
There isn't, in that I know of. Like
And it's
it's
legal?
weak.
low power.
It's weak. It's a
Yeah.
it's a
Who cares?
5K,
It can't be blocked.
but it also costs 2. So it's really easy to just play again if you have a way to recur it, which you usually do.
There's a lot of cards that just help you out. Like obviously, if you have haste, if you go turn 1, you draw. You're playing first. You drop Zidane, so you're down to 4. You play something that's a 2 CP cost that gives it haste, so then you're down to 2, and then you can just draw cards for attacking right away first turn.
Yeah, it's insane.
Seems drawing cards is just nuts in this game.
Yeah, that's why I'm so glad that there's the rule to discard down to hand size, because like games like Dragon Ball, hand advantage makes so much of a difference in that game.
Yep.
In this game, you still have a shot with a big hand or without a big hand to like turn the tables on your opponent.
Just with the right cards, yeah.
Yeah, like it's all how you build your deck, set up your board, and how you decide to play your cards out.
Yeah.
It does matter. Like the order of operations essentially matters a lot in this game, which I like. It gets you thinking of like, if I had done this differently, maybe I would have come out on top in that engagement or whatever. You know what I mean?
So I have one question.
All right.
What rarity is this, Zidane?
It
Is he a
is
hero or is he a legend?
legend. It's a legend.
He's a legend.
Dang. Most likely not in the box I have then.
No, if we have any, Travis has them all.
Dang it, Travis.
I doubt he has many because I know he played it for Golbez, and I think he probably picked a couple up.
I think we have a full play set off of just Travis.
I own 5.
That's almost 2 play sets.
Exactly. It's because it's my favorite card, man. I played it in a lot of decks that I
It's a
whenever I can.
really good card.
I mean, yeah, man, the card that pulled my attention to it, oddly enough, to like actually like look at the game, was the 5 CP Fire Cloud, because I love Kingdom Hearts, and that's the cloud that they introduced to you in Kingdom Hearts 1. Like that's how it looks. That's how I was introduced to
Clouds
Cloud, oddly enough.
Clouds in Kingdom Hearts 1?
Cloud's in Kingdom Hearts 1. If you go to Olympus Coliseum, like Hades is controlling him, quote unquote. He's bargaining with him because Hades will lead Cloud to Sephiroth, which is not off on that because Sephiroth is like the last boss in the Coliseum when you do all the side stuff. But yeah, it's real funny.
We just mentioned it. It's the same thing, man. You can't even hear him, and you got it.
What happened?
Tam walked downstairs and just said Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
Man, I own that game, and I've never noticed it.
Yeah, he's I don't know why, but he seems so much edgier in Kingdom Hearts 1 and potentially 2 than he's ever been in any other iteration that I know of.
Well, he starts out 7 very edgy.
He
like
does.
The remake,
but
like I've only seen somebody play the demo
not,
so far. It's on my list to watch like another Let's Play about it or whatnot. But like I watched the demo and he's like pretty edgy.
He's like that Silent Brood edgy kind of guy, and he's like that in Kingdom Hearts. But the funny thing in Kingdom Hearts is like he's got a real boner for Sephiroth.
Well,
and he doesn't have that in the 7 remake until like he starts seeing Sephiroth.
Nah.
And like he starts having like the weird visions and like flashbacks and stuff. In Kingdom Hearts, he's just like, I need to find this guy. I gotta find him now. Where is he? What? Like I need him. Sephiroth. Like every other word with him.
Well, spoilers for it's he does the bad thing, right? He does the bad meme, right?
He does some really bad stuff. Yeah.
Sephiroth does the bad meme that everyone gets spoiled for him, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the reason Cloud searches for him? Because Sephiroth did the bad?
I don't know if we're talking about the same bad, but...
He killed Aerith?
Oh,
Spoilers?
no, that's not the reason. Spoilers.
Not the real bad? Damn.
No, that's not the real bad. You know...
to me, that was the real bad.
But I don't want to spoil
to me, that
it
was
for
the
people who
real
haven't
bad.
played it. The real bad...
You're telling me you're going to spoil something from a game from like 20 years ago?
Right. You'd be surprised because
the remake
came out a lot of
years ago, right?
Yeah, I think it was 97.
God.
Don't quote me on that. Don't quote 97-ish. But
even born then?
Wow.
Were you? Huh?
No, I wasn't. 2 years after the fact, I was born.
Man, wait. Are you telling me you're just now 21?
In January, I was just now. It's past January.
Man, I'm old as shit.
Oh, James. Talk to me when you're older than me, but you'll never be older than me.
Yeah, that's not
talk
how
to him
age
when you
works,
have 8
Byron.
animals.
8?
Like,
I think it's over 10, man.
Oh no, he's got more.
They're growing.
Oh no, you
They're
said
multiplying.
8 chickens, didn't you?
Yeah, we have 8 chickens, 3 cats, 1 dog, a snake.
That was the whole zoo. Yep.
Welcome to We Bought a Zoo 2.
No, only Byron should be saying that though, because he's the one with the actual zoo.
And I don't think it's gonna
I'm
stop.
running the documentary series.
You gotta put it on Netflix.
Yeah, apparently animal shows that are docuseries run really well on Netflix.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like this whole Tiger
Very
King thing.
But yeah, like it I don't know. I just like the card, like the card art, which we touched on as well, is also something that
I only like
definitely
some of the
keeps me
card art.
wanting to play.
I only like some of it.
Yeah, don't you like dislike the or the tactics card art? I love tactics card art.
I hate the chibi art, the chibi looking art. I hate that.
That's more
And
English.
And I hate that they use like staple templates for things. Like,
Oh yeah.
here is Summoner. This is the Summoner class you would play in a game, and this is the image we would pop up to describe it, and we threw it on a card. That's it. That's the entirety of the card. And I'm just like, that's some lazy work right there. To
Oh, you know what's really funny? Speaking of which, since we're on just the topic of how they do the cards, so when I was sorting through our cards, I can't remember what opus it was, but there's Knight and Paladin, and they're both water cards. They're both the same CP cost and the same art, They're literally the same card with a different name.
Have you seen Viking? There are like 3 Vikings and they look exactly the same.
There's Mega Viking, which is the 3 CP one, and then there's
The one that draws and draws.
Yeah, the one that draws and draws, and then there's the one that just draws on entry and the one that draws on leave.
Yeah, the one that draws on entry by itself is the 2-drop. The one that draws on leave is the 1-drop, and the one that draws is the 3-drop.
Yep.
And they have like the same image. They're like 6 Dark Knights, and they look the same.
I was gonna talk about the Dark Knights.
Their hair changes.
I think one of them has a different arm stance too. Their arms are different, but like still, they look exactly the same.
Do you know how many
Different
red
armor.
mages are in this game? Come on now.
Like all those basic like summoner, mage, all those classes look exactly the same, and there's nothing to tell them apart from anything. That's the only part I don't like, is like their basics look exactly the same as anything else. If they have the same name, they look exactly the same. There's nothing telling them apart. They could have at least like, Opus 1, here's this one. This one looks like this. Opus 2, we changed the design a little bit. Like if they like update the graphics with the style of how the game was, I think that'd be really cool.
There's a few reprint cards. So it'll say like the original, so like Opus 3 on one and then Opus 6 on the other, and it's just it's the same card. They didn't even like want to just change the card art. I'm like, man, how funny is that? I
get it. Like, hey, this card's still okay, decent. We need to fill space in the set. It's a good basic card for people who don't have the money to pick up something. They can throw this in and not have to worry about not being able to play the deck they want to play. I get it. Change the fucking art. Like, how hard is it to just go, we'll just throw in a random image of some like, it doesn't even have to be like fan art, just like theory art. Like I'm trying to think of the word I want is like when you buy like the books, and the books have it's not design art, it's
alternate art.
Yes, but I'm trying to think of the actual storyboard art. No, man, I'll think of it later at some point probably. But like, it's just like when they're figuring out what they want things to look like in the game and how they want to do things. That art, the art they just like. Well, art. Concept art, yeah. Like this one's a concept art from Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 7, 9, 12. Like, just here's the concept art of what we wanted the summoner class to look like in game. Something like that.
I will say I don't know why, but I have like the biggest boner for the like classical Final Fantasy art style on cards. It just looks really nice for some reason, and I can't I don't know. It's just my brain's like, dude, it's so pleasing. Get those cards. Like Cypher. Hold on, let me look up the exact Cypher, because there's Kane. Kane is also another one, but Kane and Cypher look really nice. Celeste, Laguna. Let me see Cypher.
So while you look that up, so like I don't hate like the summoners, and I don't hate like all these little ones that are just like, here's X, and then like here's the X class from the game, and we put it on the art. I don't hate that. I hate that there's fucking 3 Vikings that look inches different, and that's it. That's the only difference, is they flowed his hair the opposite direction. Like
different colors, James.
6.
Are they really? Is it like what? Is it like blue and then dark blue, or is it blonde and then like
Here,
just
red and blonde?
I'm putting this to rest. Viking. Okay. There are 3 Vikings. Only 3 Vikings. So here's the difference in the Viking. Their helmets are all the same. Their hair is a different shape.
Solid.
And color.
Armor.
That's it. The armor's slightly different. There's a slightly different pattern on the armor, but it's base-wise the same armor.
they looked exactly the same, right?
Like, that's actually really funny.
That it's the number one thing I think of, is just like like if you like, it's the same thing as like printing. Like, oh well, it has both of the things on it because it was printed in a later set, but they also printed in like the first few sets or whatever. I think like it's not that I hate that, but like change the fucking art. Everything's boring.
If you want it any worse, you should look at what Opus 10 Onion Knights, because they all wear the same armor. It's just different color and a different hairstyle.
I think that's fine because like that's the thing about them, right? They get played off of the other Onion Knight, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
so
their
Onion
that's their
Knight
entire
was-
thing.
What is it category?
That's
two?
like their gimmick.
Because they're the Warriors of Light and like they're all different
Yeah.
colors. But I'm just saying though, like if you
They're the Power
if
Rangers.
you wanted something else, yeah, if you wanted something else to dog it on as well as Vikings, Onion Knights.
Well,
next.
here's the thing. Like, it's not like they printed 5 different Onion Knights over the last 5 sets and just slightly made them different colors. They printed 5 Onion Knights in like a set and made them different colors. One set.
Instead of spread out.
It's not like they went, well, I'm planning everybody to play 3 different Vikings in all their decks. They just went, we'll print another Viking. What's it do? The last one drew a card when it died. Let's have it draw a card on entry. Nice, I like it. Next set. We should print another Viking. What should it do? Well, the last 2 each one did, we'll draw a card when it leaves. We'll draw a card when it enters. Fuck it. Give it both. Like,
Fucking
Cool.
give it both.
like I get it. Like,
This,
I get to have.
quickly turned into the Viking hate session.
Well, if we want to talk about the Viking hate section, why does the fuck that card draw so many fucking cards? That thing says draw one.
Because it can't
Draw
do
one
anything
so
else.
much.
Dude, Viking's such a stupid trap though. Like it's funny, but it's dumb because you know the second your opponent plays that card, they're gonna block with it to draw another card,
Yeah, it's so dumb.
or they're gonna
try to
sack it
beat
with
you.
Fanfare and draw another.
Yeah,
They can
like,
beat you with it. They're gonna make you
Yeah,
want to
they'll swing
not
and
block
they'll.
it.
it's so
Viking's such
dumb.
a bait.
It's so
funny.
overpowered.
It's a trolly card. It trolls.
It's such a troll, dude.
This turns into Viking does too much. It draws you a card. It auto deals damage to your opponent.
Nobody
It
wants
auto
to spend
block.
their
No one wants to
resources
let. Nobody wants to
blocking
swing.
Viking.
Blocking an attack. Viking an attack step is just broken.
It's take damage or net your opponent a card. It just feels bad either way. You have to pick the lesser of two
Do I
evils.
attack? He's just gonna block and draw. I won't attack. It's not worth it. Oh, he's attacking me. Do I block it and not take damage and let him draw, or do I just take it? I'll just
And if
take
you
it.
block, you just play a fan for it and get rid of both.
Yeah. I hate water so much.
Viking's too good. Ban it.
Viking and Famfrit, they're like, oh, did you block me? Dude, Famfrit, I'm just gonna kill my Viking and draw a card anyways. Bye.
God. I didn't want to. I didn't want it to turn into the hate the Viking thing. Viking was just my example because I remember all 3 Vikings looking the same.
Oh, Jesus.
But like for the Onion Knight thing, they're 4 different colors because that's what that fucking light Onion Knight wants to do. It wants to play a different Onion Knight.
Yeah,
Like that's
fair.
its entire gimmick. It wasn't like they built a Viking gimmick in one set and went, "This is exactly what we wanted." They just printed Vikings and had them work.
Oh, Jesus. Dude, I can't. It's really sad, too, because when I typed in Viking, there were only those 3 Viking cards. There are no other Viking.
I know.
These are the
Trust
things
me.
James cares about.
The only card in this game I care about. Shiva. Viking second though.
Viking.
Hey, I think the Vikings are nuts.
So, back
Draw
on
card's cool.
topic slightly here. Away from the hate the Vikings show, we can continue this in post if need be.
Oh, we will.
Keywords also keep me slightly invested in this game. Because,
Oh, yeah. I was actually gonna have us talk about that in the post show.
I don't even know how much time we have left. So
We've been going for an hour and a half.
Oh, have we?
Yeah.
Are we really?
Oh boy! Wow,
Yep.
we're going.
And
Maybe
we technically started the regular part of the cast about 20 minutes in. So we ended like the pre-show at about 20 minutes.
That's
So
pretty
we've
cool.
been going for a solid like hour and 10. So it's not that bad.
Can we just leave it here?
Minus like
Viking.
4.5 minutes trying to deal with the internet connection problems.
Hey,
But,
we only
eh,
had it twice. That's pretty good.
It's not
Considering
bad. not bad.
once we, I wanna get on our topic of the Lost podcast, which was the whole deck building idea.
Yeah,
But I think we all need to be in
mentalities.
person for that. Honestly, the mentality in deck building we should all be in person for. God, I hate this quarantine now, man.
And we should have more than 3 people because there's a
Yeah.
lot of like different mindsets from
I
all
would-
of us.
I would love to pick Travis's brain about it, but Travis is being a little stinker and had to try and make CS:GO puns, so he's not invited right now.
Whoa! He switched it to Valorant, whatever the other game.
Oh, I stopped paying attention after he made his dumb. But no hate on Travis. No hate on
Complete
CS:GO.
hate.
It's just hate when both are put together. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, Travis needs to show up sometimes. Be nice. Travis, if you're listening, show up for a fucking podcast. we
Oh,
want you
God.
here.
I can hear him now. Just go no.
Just okay. So we'll end the normal show here, guys. For everybody who won't be able to catch the post show, if you get it to us at patreon.com/TCG University. If you hit at that $1 level, you can watch the show live and get to see that post show. You also get to see all of our content a week early on the Patreon site as well. And you get to interact with us on our Discord if you want to. We are always out there hanging out if we can. If anybody hits up and wants to have a conversation, we're always out there. So make sure to do that. And as always, guys, see you later. Catch you next time.
Thanks for watching.
Is